Hey, so I took a bit of a break from uploading. Sometimes I'm guided to step back and into the objective observer energy, an energy that creates an open source channel of reception. There are two videos I've previously uploaded where I share a bit of my trafficking experience. I was trafficked by a criminal organization that engages in trafficking humans, amongst many other things. Something I like to bring a bit of attention to is intellectual trafficking or digital pimping, because it is absolutely a thing that occurs and it has a lasting impact on its victims. It is also something that is rarely talked about, and there are several people who may not even be aware that this is a thing. We live in a digital age. Digital pimping is absolutely a thing, and it is something that occurs at an alarming rate within the spiritual community. Individuals who are traffickers are slave handlers, straight up. So for the sake of this video and any future videos I may post on this topic, I will be referring to them as such. If you're a light worker or part of the 144,000, you have experienced phone hacking, cloning, or mirroring, there's a high probability that you're being digitally pimped by a handler. In my experience, I was being both physically trafficked but also intellectually trafficked. Handlers will profit and exploit their slave in any and all ways available to them. I am a survivor of familial trafficking, so most of, if not all of my romantic relationships have been with individuals that are part of the same crime syndicate that my rogue Freemason family is also a part of. My most recent handlers' family were associated with the Church of Scientology. Regardless, they all network and operate using the same methods and carry out the same white-collar and low-level crimes. Moving on. Because I am not a promiscuous individual, and due to my past trauma, morals, and personal boundaries, I could not be coerced into prostitution or the group sex things that they engage in. I'm in no way judging or looking down on sex workers or individuals who choose with their free will to engage in such activities. It is just not something I would personally ever engage in or choose for myself. And that is my right. Due to this, my traffickers utilize relationship scamming tactics to lure me in. I was skillfully isolated, manipulated, and trauma bonded. There were great lengths and plots orchestrated to ensure I was destitute, imbalanced, vulnerable, and dependent. My world became smaller and smaller until my handler was the only person that I had. And while I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if there are intimate videos or pictures of me circulating on the dark web due to my handler distributing them, my handler was well aware that sex work or sexual content distribution isn't something I'd ever knowingly consent to or participate in. But he was all that I had. I was trapped in a cycle with this individual for 5 years, and I would share absolutely every idea, thought, path, spiritual download, and inner truth I reached with him. Only to later find out that everything I shared with him in confidence, my prophecies, downloads, understandings, truths, and thought paths, every written work of mine he had access to or that I typed into the notes app on my phone, my intellectual property was being stolen, transcribed, and distributed to other individuals within this criminal organization, who would then take my intellect and use it for profit by posing as false lights on the internet and creating content. It is one experience to have your body enslaved and exploited for profit, but sexual exploitation is something I've experienced since I was a very young child. It is an entirely different level of insidiousness to have someone enslave and pimp out your mind. To have the very individuals that are spreading lies and slander about you, calling you mentally ill, promiscuous, abusive, unhinged, a thief, be the very individuals keeping your mind on lock and key and making a profit that you'll never see off of your mind, your intellect, your essence, and your soul. The very same individuals who are actively engaging in sex work, abuse, trafficking, pedophilia, ritual abuse, theft, bribery, exploitation, and completely unhinged smear campaigns to discredit and destroy the very individuals they're enslaving. There are no words that can depict the gravity of this type of violation. But I will say this, there are absolutely false lights here on the internet. And the way people they're gossiping about, and the very people they're gossiping about, bullying and slandering, might be the very same individual they have locked in a cage and are impersonating, enslaving, and abusing. Abusers love to use the "they're unwell," "they're mentally ill," "they're crazy" narrative to silence, discredit, and isolate and continue their abuse on their victim. Please keep that in mind. Traffickers, handlers will use any network where money can flow through. The spiritual community is not exempt, and there are digital pimps, false lights, and false prophets all throughout. So please use your own discernment. Ask questions, and don't take anything you see or hear, especially on the internet, as a fact. Not even the things that I share with you. Always be your own leaders of discernment. It is so easy to spot authenticity from exploitation if you have the eyes to see and are able to objectively observe. We are in an age where videos, text messages, and photos can be deepfaked and altered. It's so important to use skepticism. Until you have the concrete evidence and facts, until you have the concrete evidence and facts, just be skeptical. Ask the questions. I like to lead with curiosity, and it's kept me alive. So I strongly suggest, especially on the internet, to keep yourself out of trouble and not fall into someone else's like smear campaign or their, attack on another person. The easiest way not to fall victim and fall within that tower that they're going to eventually fall in when they're caught is by disengaging. If the person's not there to speak for themselves, and if ask questions and get curious. What would be, the reason why someone would be going around saying a bunch of wild things about another person? Ask the questions. Research. Do some digging. I don't know. But above all, use your discernment and your intuition. They are social tools just like any other social tools. It's a way to see into the unseen, because not everything's going to be right there in your face at face value. There's things that exist beyond that. There are people who operate using, who are very skilled manipulators, and they will use that skill. So you've got to sharpen your own skills and, get curious and ask questions. Anyways, where was I? If you have the eyes to see and are able to objectively observe, we are in an age where videos... I already read that. Okay, so, and if you're someone who is highly sensitive and intuitive, that is a tool that is going to be your best guide during this time that the veil is thinning. The masks are dissolving. Stay vigilant. Digital pimping is a thing, and I hope that this helps. Oh, and if you think that you might be a victim of this, or that, you might have fallen victim to someone hacking your phone, stealing your content, anything like that, paper and pen will be your best friend. That is why I use a notebook, because I used to use my notes app in my phone to write, and that was not a safe way to protect my intellectual property. Anyways, I hope this helped. I'm sending y'all so much love to the universe and beyond. I am writing something about false lights that I will share at a later time. Bye!